And now we are introduced to the new novel called Leaning on the Steep Slope. So this is some type of diary which is preserved from that times. It is described in 7 days. 7 days of adventures of the narrator.
Right, and it so far is the most interesting part for me because we can see the thoughts of a person, and the atmosphere is so different. We can feel that it's so peaceful, like too peaceful, like a psychopath is writing, and the atmosphere is all white, and he's writing it in different times of the days, and I really like the feeling of it because the changes in the atmosphere between the previous story and between this one is very different. Like,
yes, absolutely.
And it's another story.
The pacing is becoming slower.
Right.
Yes. I guess because he explains his feelings and thoughts.
Right. And here we start reading it. We see a lot of it's like I narrator, but then we get accustomed to the same names. And I didn't notice these names before, like when I was reading the first time. But when I finished it, like you told me, like, it is Lida, and I was like, right, it was her, but I didn't notice that because the timelines are different. It's like Mr. Calder, who was a grandfather at the previous chapters, he's now just a meteorologist, and he's like not the grandfather, of course. He's probably young.
Yeah, you're right. The narrator meets Miss Vida that we've learned before, but I guess this Miss Vida is not the Miss Vida that we know. He meets her in toward the sea. She is collecting and drawing seashells. But he is hesitating to talk to her because she is young, and he is trying to find some
like excuses to talk to her,
yes.
but he cannot. And he's like, she's probably waiting for me to talk to her, but I'm not talking to her because she also notices him. Right? And he also notices that she stayed at the hotel of Sea Lily, and he actually asked about her there. And we now see that Zuida is very young because he says that you can count in your fingers the number of young people. So probably Zuida was one of that young people he asked about.
Yes. Also, he meets Mr. Calderer that we know, but he is presented as meteorologist, and he is really excited to know him because he is hesitating between to talk to Zuida, so he is glad to know the Mr. Calderer, but the Mr. Calderer that we know before is already known to the reader. Like,
yes.
You got me?
Right, yes. And they're talking just like he's the patient who is suffering from eczema. Probably this is why, because like here's at that place, we can't call it hospital, right? It's like just like a hotel, right? Is it a hotel?
Yes.
Where just people stay, but they're actually healing from something. And we also see some recommendations from doctors. Like, doctors are like, doctor tells him not to kind of go outside in the dark. So we see some recommendations. But it's not the hospital. But he's actually rehabilitating from something.
Yes. He thinks all day to talk to Miss Vida, but he talks to her only the second day. When the Mr. Calderer offers him to be a meteorologist for a few days while he will be not in the town.
Right, like he's absent, but he doesn't say like where is he going, just out of the town. And did you feel some suspicion here? Because I did. He just disappears.
No, I felt okay with this.
Really?
Because the reader, or the narrator was excited with this. He really wanted to be to take this place, to have an excuse, like to get out of the dialogue with Miss Vida.
But he doesn't think about that right at the moment. He thinks about it the next day, like when
But
he has
he
to talk to her.
understands that this was really important for him.
Yes, that's right. But like Mr. Calderon disappears because when I read his name for the second time, I was like, oh my god, I know him, and he just goes away again. Like the reader, the author is playing with us.
Yes, actually yes.
Like he put his name again and just takes him away.
He's confusing us with each novel.
Yes, and it's not a novel, right? Is it a novel?
I don't know.
Like it's a story that they were reading, the readers of us, like Ludmila and the main eye.
But for us, this is a new novel. I guess, I don't know. At the beginning, I felt that this is a continuation of the novel that we read before, outside of the town of Melbourne. But now, no, this is absolutely another story.
Kind of. Characters' names are the same. Right?
Yeah, only names.
Only names, and the plot is different.
So,
yes, and they start talking, like kind of day after day. He's like a meteorologist, and he starts talking to her, and she's a painter.
yes, and she paints seashells.
Like she's like drawing them sitting at the sea. She's watching at the sea. She's drawing it, and she's so peaceful. But as a psychopath, like
Kind of.
too peaceful, right?
Too peaceful, yes.
And when they start talking, they are like so. Both of them are not enthusiastic about life. They're very depressed. Didn't you notice that?
I guess so, but the narrator is concerned about the seashells because he collected them before, so maybe his interest is just gone to them, and it's time to. He didn't want to recall the times.
Right. Yes. Exactly. And what is the turning point? The turning point when someone comes to him, some people in black, and asks about Mr. Calderon. Like, where is he? And he's like, I don't know. Because he really doesn't know.
That was just like a moment, I don't know.
But why?
This the most suspicious moment was when the next day he sees Miss Vida in the prison with these two black weird men.
That's why I'm saying it was a turning point, because we see him, we see them again.
Yes. So he asks himself like, what is she doing in the prison?
Right.
And she says like she is painting people, but that is so unbelievable. I guess.
Right, and he's like, he didn't actually wanted to ask about it because he's not interested in painting, and he was like, I wouldn't ask it, but she just started explaining herself. What was she doing? And she was like, kind of painting people, and he says, I don't like painting people. I like painting objects.
Yes, then she mentions graphnels that she wants to paint. Also, she mentions the 12 meters rope that she wants to paint too.
Right.
This moment was really suspicious.
Yes, because he's like, you can buy it though. And she says, you can buy it too.
Yeah.
Like,
and she asks him actually for this.
Yes, but it was like more of a tone of saying you have to buy it and it must be 12 meters long.
Yeah. Also, she mentioned that she doesn't want other people to know that she is going to draw it, and she wants to buy it because she has she doesn't want to share with non-artistic people her drawings because they won't understand it.
It's an excuse, right?
Yes.
She just doesn't want to tell the truth. Maybe it was the truth, we don't know. But he ends up not buying anything.
But we don't know, yes, really. Maybe that is true, but for me it seemed like
suspicious.
Like strange thing. She is in the prison and she's searching for a rope.
Is she in the prison?
No, she was painting in the prison.
Oh, right, yes. And I thought that maybe she was trying to save someone from the prison. That she's looking for this rope. 12 meters. Like Graphnel was so pointless at that point. She could say just I need a 12-meter rope.
But we don't know, and you may discover it yourself.
Right, yes. And like, will he really buy it or not?
Yes. Let's keep it a secret.
Yes. And then one day, Mr. Calder sends the person the letter, and he says, "I want to meet you at the cemetery in the midnight." And he comes to the cemetery, and Mr. Calder appears, and it was so interesting because the atmosphere of the darkness. Because it's the first time we're introduced to the darkness in this story. Everything was so white before that, and like in the dark they meet up, and he is not like kind of suggested to go outside after evening because it's not recommended for him. And he sees Mr. Calder, and Mr. Calder tells him that, what are you doing? Like, I left you to look after the people and look after the weather. What are you doing looking for a 12-meter rope or with a graphnel? Like, and if someone will ever ask you something, you don't know me. Don't ever try to say any information about me, and because of you I have to stay for several more days absent.
This moment also seemed suspicious for me.
Yes.
Because he had to prolong his days of absence, yes, due to the fact that the narrator asked for a rope and graphnel. I felt that he's afraid
of what?
Of being suspicious.
Suspected?
Suspected, yes.
Yes. Like, what is he was trying to hide?
There is something, I guess.
Right. We can just guess.
So after this, the next morning, the narrator comes to the meteorological observatory, where he is in the harmony with himself. He likes the feeling of fullness and harmony with the weather, but at the moment he looks down and sees a bearded man dressed in a rough striped tunic soaked with rain, and he says that,
like, if you see me, don't betray me.
He says that he escaped.
Right.
Escaped from prison. And this moment, and he says that he wants to the narrator tell someone from the hotel of the Sea Lily to tell about his escape.
Right. And yes. And what does he say in the end? I sense at once that in the perfect order of the universe, a breach had opened and irreparable rent. Like, he was so peaceful at that moment.
I don't know. It is the end. This is the ending. How can it end like this?
Yes.
I have so many questions.
Yes. Who was the one who's escaping? We don't know his name. Maybe we will be introduced to him soon.
How did he escape, and why is he in the meteorological sunset?
Yes, and who was that? He was mentioned, so probably he was one of the main characters, right? Okay, we will see that soon.